Well, there's a lot going on in our nation's capital right now, from the debate over federal vaccine mandates to trillions of dollars of proposed spending on infrastructure, social services, climate, and much more.
And joining us now to talk about some of those topics is Oklahoma Senator James Lankford. Thank you so much for being here with us in the studio. And saying it's a busy time is really an understatement.
It is. There's a lot going on right now.
Let's start off with the vaccine mandates. Senator President Biden says this is the only way to beat the pandemic, mandating businesses over 100 employers be vaccinated. There's also opt-out clauses in there. Your response, how do we beat the pandemic?
Yeah, I wish there were opt-out clauses that were in it, and that's been the biggest challenge of this. What he's done is he's put down a mandate from a speech, but he's not actually put out the text of the mandate itself. But he put out this early deadline saying it's got to be done right now. So there is no mandate that's actually out there physically. It's really literally only a speech that's been put down, and a lot of employers are jumping in saying we know it's coming, so we're going to go ahead and get ahead of it now. What Biden's trying to do is be able to push this out and to be able to say everyone's going to get mandated a vaccine, but try to keep it out of the courts, because he knows as soon as he actually drops a mandate, it ends up in the courts immediately and will get stayed at that point. So my encouragement is, I do encourage people to get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated. I'm grateful for the folks that step up and do it, but we're the United States of America. We're not going to lay down a mandate to every employer and try to have the president take over every business and say how you're going to run it, or interrupt union contracts, which he's also doing, and adding a new feature into their collective bargaining without any kind of conversation on this.
If the Department of Labor puts it down in writing and says there's religious opt-outs and you can test negative weekly instead of getting vaccinated, does that change your mind?
You're still dealing with private employers and changing what private employers can actually do in their local businesses. We have a lot of issues, and I've pushed back hard and had a lot of conversation with the CDC, with the Pentagon, with the Office of Management and Budget. I've met with a lot of different people. They're ignoring the 44 million people that have already had COVID and have recovered. They have natural immunity. They're ignoring people that have health issues, cancer treatments, whatever it may be, people with religious exemptions. They need to allow individuals to be able to actually express what's going on in their own personal bodies and to be able to make that decision.
Senator Lankford, last week we shared a story about the Global War on Terrorism Memorial Location Act, and we have Oklahoma families who are pushing this, and families across the country. You're a co-sponsor on the legislation to make it happen, but it's being held up right now in Senate because of Senator Joe Manchin. What can we do, or what can be done to get that pushed through?
Yeah, obviously Joe Manchin's a busy individual right now because he's very tied up in this $3.5 trillion entitlement package out there as well. Joe Manchin's saying he has no problem with actually doing the Global War on Terrorism Memorial. He just doesn't want it to be on the mall. He wants to be able to protect them all out. My response to that is, okay, the Vietnam memorial's on the mall, the Korean War memorial's on the wall, World War II memorial's on the wall. This has been the spot where we've recognized America's heroes, has been on the mall. We need to be able to have it on the mall. That mall goes all the way across to the Lincoln Memorial, and then on the back side of that is actually Arlington Cemetery. The right place to be able to put it is on the mall, and that's the holdup right now.
And no compromising on location for that?
No, there's not a compromise on location on that. I mean, again, if we're going to have the place to be able to have people gather, to be able to recognize why we live free, then let's do it right there on the mall.
The Build Back Better Act, $3.5 trillion just this week. The president said he'd come down to $2 trillion rather. Does this have a chance in the Senate, if it makes it to the Senate, and what could be in it for Oklahomans?
So yeah, this will be a straight partisan vote if it ends up passing the House and the Senate, because there will not be a single Republican for it. It's not just the cost. The cost is bad, obviously. This is trillions of dollars. To give you a feel on this, if you combine every state budget in all across the entire country, all 50 states together, that's $2 trillion. They want to do $3.5 trillion of brand new entitlements on top of the entitlements that we already have. That's an enormous amount. That cost is big, but even if they drop it to quote unquote just $2 trillion, that's a huge number. But the content is even bigger than the cost itself. The content has things like they want to have $600. If you put $600 into your bank account or take it out, they want to give all that information to the IRS to track all of your information. What they're doing on energy prices will be a dramatic effect for individuals. They're changing all of what Bill Clinton put in place in the 1990s about cash welfare benefits to individuals to be able to go out that we saw before, that disincentivized work. So the actual content of the bill is the worst part of it, though the cost is really bad. So no, there's not going to be some enthusiasm to say the price is lower, so let's go help it, because the content of it is really the big issue.
Senator Lankford, busy man, thank you very much for your time.
You bet. Glad to be able to visit with you all.
Yeah, we appreciate you.